Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. Before we get into today's video, please do me a small favour. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. And also, I have a question to ask you. Who should Manchester United sign as the new striker this summer? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We will be starting the show off by talking about that exact topic, because German Sky Sports journalist Florian Plettenberg was speaking yesterday on this matter, and he has said that apparently Manchester United have 4 players on their shortlist to become the new striker for Manchester United this coming summer. So those 4 players are Victor Osimhen, Gyökeres, Šeško, and I can never say this guy's name. Ekiteg. I know I've said that name terribly. Plays for Frankfurt anyway. Used to play for PSG, didn't he? I know how to say it in my head. I'm just struggling to say it. Anyway, you know who I mean. He plays for Frankfurt. He used to play for PSG. Been linked to teams like Newcastle, etc. So let's go through the 3 different profiles. Hugo Ekitike. There you go. Hugo Ekitike. So Hugo Ekitike, Benjamin Sesko, Victor Gyökeres, and Osimhen. Those are the 4 players. Obviously, they're all, I would say, relatively different amounts of money. We know that Gyökeres and Osimhen both have release clauses of about 60 million. I imagine Sesko would probably be somewhere between 40 and 60 million, I think. And then I think Hugo Ekitike would be probably somewhere in the same region, 40 to 60 million. Age profiles, obviously Sesko and Hugo Ekitike are considerably younger. But is that really what we want at the moment? That's the question, isn't it? Do we want someone with a little bit more experience? Obviously, both Sesko and Ekitike have had really good seasons for their respective clubs. Let's have a little look at their stats. So Benjamin Sesko so far this season has got 10 goals and 5 assists in the Bundesliga. He's also got 4 goals in 8 Champions League games. So he's having a great season. He's got 23 goals and assists so far this season, which is, pretty phenomenal, isn't it? And that is in the Champions League as well, before people are like, oh, he's playing in the Bundesliga, it's a lesser league. Fair enough. And then in relation to Hugo Ekitike, he's also playing in the Bundesliga. He's got 13 goals this season, so 2 more than Sesko in the Bundesliga, in 25 games. So they've both played the same amount of games. He's got 13 goals and 4 assists in the Bundesliga. And so what's that, 17 goals and assists in 25 games? Benjamin Sesko's got 15 goals and assists. So relatively similar. And he's also got 3 goals in the Europa League and 3 assists in the Europa League. 28 goals and assists in 38 games. Really, really good stats there. Me personally, who would I go for? Out of those 4 options, I really did like Benjamin Sesko. I thought he was a really, really good option a few summers ago. Obviously, Red Bull Salzburg and Leipzig did some dodgy deal, didn't they, in 2023, where they bought him for like half of his market value. So they're going to want to make a substantial profit. We know that. Teams like Arsenal are interested in, I think, in Benjamin Sesko because of his age profile, because, you could bring him in. If he does well, he could be your striker for the next decade. Whereas as good as Osimhen and Gyökeres both are, I think are they both turning 27 this year? Which, it's not old, is it? You're going into your prime. Yeah, they both turned 27 this year. It's a really, really difficult one, isn't it? And obviously, the thing you also have to bear in mind is the wage demands for an Osimhen versus the wage demands for a Benjamin Sesko will be mad. Like, Osimhen supposedly wants 200 grand after tax. Tax in the UK is about 40%. So, he's asking for maybe 350, 400 grand a week before tax. Whereas, obviously, Benjamin Sesko is not going to be able to demand those types of wages. So you do have to kind of factor that in when you're doing your calculations, because, if you look at potentially 350k a week over a 5-year contract, it is vast amounts of money. Absolutely. Let's have a little look. So over a 5-year deal, it would be approximately, wow. So if he got 350k a week on a 5-year contract, it would be about £95 million worth of wages in 5 years. That's for Victor Osimhen. Whereas, say, Benjamin Sesko, say you give him 120k a week, I would say, would be probably sufficient. Over a 5-year deal, it's about 30 million over 5 years. So Osimhen's wages alone would probably be about 3 times what Sesko, and I think Gyökeres's wages would probably be about the same as Sesko's, you know, because you've got to remember that Osimhen's already on big money. He's already on about 200k a week at Napoli after tax. So there's no reason why he's going to take a pay cut. And he always has that option in the back of his head that a Saudi club will pay him 600 grand a week. So, you know, you are kind of battling up against that. Whereas you look at someone like a Gyökeres, you look at someone like Benjamin Sesko. So Gyökeres at the moment for Sporting Lisbon is currently earning just under 40,000 a week, pounds. So say you were to triple his salary, that would be 120, which is a third of what Osimhen's supposedly asking for. Whereas if you look at, say, Hugo Ekitike, let's have a look. His wages at the moment, he's on about 50,000 a week. So again, if you were to double that, he'd be on about 100, 120 a week. Benjamin Sesko at the moment is on about 100,000 a week. So if you look at it in that order, I think Osimhen's wages would be the most. Then it would probably be Gyökeres, then Sesko, then Ekitike, based on what they're currently earning. But obviously, at the end of the day, you want a player who's going to score you lots and lots of goals. That realistically, and yeah, that's the hardest bit, isn't it? To find a striker who's going to get you 20 goals in the Prem. You know, the next Isak, the next Haaland, the next whoever it might be, Ollie Watkins, etc. That's what we're looking for. We need that player. I don't think Højlund's there yet. I think he does have potential, but I think for me, the best thing for Højlund would be to loan him out for a season. Yeah, I think if we were able to loan him out for a season, that would be really, really good. So yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys all think. I'd be really interested. Let me know. I'm really interested to know what you guys' thoughts are, to see, you know, what the situation is. Sorry, I'm just replying to a message that's really important. Cool, it's all done. Right, let's have a look in the chat then. Let's see what people are saying this morning. We've got lots of people in the chat today, which is lovely. Albert says, what about Harry Kane? He might be tempted to come back. I don't think so. I think Harry Kane will return to the Premier League at some point, but I don't think it will be now. I think Harry Kane has some sort of release clause, doesn't he? Next summer, I think I read. Let's have a look. Yeah, so in January 2026 onwards, Harry Kane has got a release clause worth £67 million. That's from January next year. So this summer, Harry Kane definitely won't be moving, I don't think. He's going to win the Bundesliga this year. He's doing really well for Borussia for Bayern Munich, sorry. How old is Harry Kane going to be? So Harry Kane's 32 this year. So next year, when he turns 33, he'll have a £67 million release clause. I wouldn't sign Harry Kane at this age. But you never know in football. I think the likelihood of us signing a Kane now is very small. If we didn't want to sign him before, when he was younger, why would we want to sign him now? You know, it doesn't really make any logical sense. So as much as I like Kane, as much of a clinical striker I think he is, I can't see Manchester United going for Harry Kane, realistically. Like, that was 2 summers ago, wasn't it? When he was 30. He's going to be 33 by the time he's available. And he is most likely, I'm just having a look at the Bundesliga table. There's 12 games left to play in the Bundesliga, and Bayern Munich are 6 points ahead of Bayern Leverkusen. Imagine if they don't win the Bundesliga again. Wow, that'd be crazy. Who did Bayern play in the Champions League? Did they go through? I can't even remember if they went through or not. Have a look. They play Inter Milan. Is that in the quarterfinals? Yeah. Yeah, maybe they go all the way. Who knows? Somebody says, what is that item on the top left next to the duck? What are we looking at? This? These things here? Do you mean this? These are... They're made by a company called Kid Robot. And they do like loads of limited edition like collectibles. So this is like a sriracha. You know, like the sriracha hot sauce. Is that what you mean? I don't know. It's like a whole collection. They did like all different sauces. The big red one, yeah, that's like a bigger version of it. You know, like sriracha hot sauce that you put on food. It's like a collectible character toy type thing, like a figure. Why does my phone keep beeping even though... Weird. Yeah, that's what it is. The plant looks better. Yeah, the plant had a little bit of a watering yesterday. He's been sat in the bath all day yesterday. So he looks quite happy now. I got all the dead leaves off it. Yeah, the plant is looking better. So I do apologise. I know people were quite concerned about the safety and the condition of my plant. So the plant has been saved. Don't worry. Anyway, right. So we've gone through the striker targets. Obviously, you can let me know your pick in the comment section. I need to pick mine really quickly. So I think Benjamin Sesko and Hugo Ekitike sound great, but are they better than Højlund? Maybe a little bit, but not considerably, I don't think. Neither of them are clinical strikers yet, in my opinion, Sesko or Ekitike. Based on their stats, based on where they are in their career, they could quite easily come to Manchester United and get suffocated and swallowed into the ground and be another Rasmus Højlund, you know? A player with lots of potential who doesn't meet their potential, right? So I probably wouldn't go for either of them, especially as we know that Arsenal want Sesko. We know that Hugo Ekitike is going to have lots of interest as well. So I probably wouldn't go for either of them. I personally, my dream one would be Gyökeres, but again, there's going to be lots of teams interested in him. He's going to probably want Champions League football. So I would say this: if we get if we qualify for Champions League through the Europa, winning the Europa, I would go all out for Gyökeres. You know, that would be our big summer signing, 60 million, bring him in. Obviously, he knows how to play in Ruben Amorim's team, clinical striker, has played in English football before, obviously for Coventry, so he has got, you know, it's not completely new to him. Obviously, the Premier League, I think, is new to him. But he has lived in England before. He played at Brighton, remember? He played at Coventry. So he does have experience of England. He knows, you know, what to expect, which I think is positive, right? He would probably be my number one target if we get Champions League, and I think he would be achievable if we get Champions League. If we don't get Champions League, I would maybe then turn the attentions to Benjamin Sesko or Hugo Ekitike or maybe Victor Osimhen, because you've got to remember that Osimhen's playing for Galatasaray in the Europa League. So Champions League football must not be like that important. Obviously, it's important to Osimhen, but the fact that he chose a club last summer, without Champions League football and he accepted to go there shows that he would be willing to play a lesser competition. Although at the moment, if we don't win the Europa League, we're not going to be in any European competition, are we, realistically? So, yeah, but I still think we'll be able to attract players, even if we don't have Europe, you know? Coming to Manchester United is huge. So, yeah. Any news on Aiden Heaven? No, nothing. I assume they're probably doing all the scans and stuff. So I don't think the no news thing is a bad thing. I think it's just a case of we've got to wait. They usually wait and see how whatever it is healed and all the rest of it. So I think we'll probably get news in the next few days. Obviously, he left the stadium with an ankle, like a foot brace thing. But apparently he wasn't on crutches and he was walking. So that's positive. But yeah, we'll obviously keep you updated. Right. Another player we want to talk about here is Semenyo, because there's been lots of reports in the last couple of days saying that apparently Manchester United are targeting Semenyo from Bournemouth, and apparently Jason Wilcox is a big fan of him. Bournemouth are willing to sell him this summer apparently, and are looking for a fee of around 30 to 34 million pounds. Obviously had a really, really good season for Bournemouth this year, 25 years of age, plays predominantly as a forward, doesn't he? He's got 7 goals, 4 assists, can operate either as a right winger, a striker, or a left winger. I mean, he's a good player, but is he really what we need? I'm not sure. If it was like a cheap signing as well as some other things, say we get him for 20 million, which we're not going to do, then like, yeah, great. But to go and spend 40 million on him, I'm not sure. Especially as we really, at the moment, want those central attacking midfield positions to be played by central attacking midfielders. And at the moment, it's like Garnacho, who's a winger, trying to adapt. We don't want to bring in another winger into this system and then the person be like, oh, I don't like playing in that position. And then they've got to play at wing back. I don't think that's sensible. So I think, if anything, we need to sign specialist central attacking midfielders. We need to sign specialist wing backs. Like, that's what we need to be doing. Not buying players who are wingers and then being like, oh, can you play at central attacking midfield? Like, it's just a recipe for disaster. So that's my take on that. I like Semenyo. He's a decent player, but I'm not sure he's 100% the right person. Maybe you disagree. Let me know. Dave says, why would Harry Kane want to join us? I mean, Harry Kane is literally the opposite of a serial winner. Harry Kane's never won a trophy in his whole career. Like, for winning a competition. Not one. So he would fit in perfectly at Manchester United. Although I say that, we won the FA Cup last year. Like, there's this whole perception that we're this rubbish club and all the rest of it. But you look at our trophies over the last 3 years. We've won the League Cup and the FA Cup. Arsenal haven't won a trophy for 6 years. And they're supposedly this world-class team that every player would love to join, and they're amazing. And this world-class team in Arsenal haven't won a trophy for 6 years. And this Manchester United team, who are in the gutter, the worst team in our history, have won 2 trophies in the last 3 years. Like, there's levels, isn't there? So for people to say, oh, why would Harry Kane want to join Manchester United? I mean, I don't even really know how to answer that, to be honest. He doesn't win anything anyway, so he's not going to be like, oh, why would I go there? I'm not going to win a trophy. It'll probably be perfect for him. So, yeah. Somebody says, why would we go for Semenyo? I don't know, mate. It's a new show. I have no idea. I've seen it being reported multiple times today that apparently Jason Wilcox wants to bring in Semenyo from Bournemouth. I agree. I don't think it makes much sense. I think he's a good player, but yeah, I personally wouldn't be going for Semenyo. I don't see it as a priority position. I think you get another centre-back, you get another holding midfielder, you get a striker, you get a right wing back, and that's probably it for now. I know we need lots more, but you can't sign 20 players in one window. So my priorities would be a world-class striker, a Gyökeres and Osimhen, a right wing back, maybe a Frimpong, a centre-back, open for discussion on the centre-back. I like the guy from... Is it the Bournemouth centre back? I can't remember his name. Yeah, Dean Huijsen. He looks good. He probably cost you a lot of money, but he looks decent. He would probably be my number one option if I was to bring in somebody at centre back. And then central midfield or central defensive midfield. Maybe Edison from Atalanta. I mean, he's the name that we've been linked to a lot. Those would be kind of my 4 positions that I'd look at. But let's jump on from there and let's move over to Amad Diallo. So the stories this morning are suggesting that apparently Ruben Amorim plans to play Amad at right wing back once he comes back from injury. I think it makes sense. I think whenever Amorim has played Amad in that position, I think he's been very effective. So I'm excited and happy to see Amad back in the role where he was creating so much, because I think as soon as he got moved further up the pitch, he was still effective, but it wasn't as effective. And there was some crazy stat, wasn't there, that every time Amad played at right wing back, he was scoring. Yeah, so let's see what happens. But hopefully Ahmad's back sooner than we think, and hopefully we get him back for the final bits of the Champions League. Not the Champions League, sorry. The what do you call it? The Europa League. When is Ahmad coming back? I'm not sure, mate. Tony says, do you think we should go for Kirkes? I mean, he's a left back, isn't he? Or left wing back. And as Al says, I think Liverpool are in for him, so he'll probably go to Liverpool, I imagine. I'm sure Kirkes is a left back, isn't he? And we've already got what's he called? Dorgu. Milos Kirkes. Yeah, he's a left back. So I don't think so. We've already got Patrick Dorgu who plays on the left. Unless Dorgu moves over to the right and Kirkes comes in at the left. But I don't think so personally. I think we'll go for a right wing back. So it might be a Frimpong. It might be, you know, or they'll just put Ahmad there. But still, we need some depth in that position because at the moment, like, we don't have any really. Because Diallo and Mazraoui are pretty much non-existent going forward, aren't they? Diallo tries, but he's just terrible going forward. He puts a cross in and it literally hits the other corner flag on the other side of the pitch. So, yeah, and Mazraoui, I don't think... Does Mazraoui ever try and cross the ball? I don't think he does, really. He runs down the line and then kind of cuts back, doesn't he? So, yeah, we need someone who can get the ball in the box. Yeah, he's a left wing back. And then the final story is about Mainoo. Apparently, Manchester United are making progress in the pursuit of a new deal for Mainoo. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know how much money we're talking about here. I don't know any of the finite details. It's just a story this morning that Manchester United feel positive about the current situation. So hopefully something happens there. I would be more than happy for Mainoo to stay, but obviously not on 200 grand a week, which is what was being reported a couple of days ago. You know, that's just ridiculous. And I think we can all agree on that. But I'm going to leave the video here, guys. It feels like a good point to end today's show. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. No updates on Heaven's injury, unfortunately, but as soon as we have one, we will let you know. Have a great day. Speak to you all later. Bye-bye. Oh.